Salut tout le monde, j'espère que vous allez bien. Aujourd'hui, j'ai à New York, j'ai un event ce soir, donc je pense que c'est le bon moment pour faire un vlog pour vous. Normalement, je peux faire le vlog à Paris, en Guadeloupe, parce que pour moi, New York c'est un peu moche, mais aujourd'hui ça va, c'est bon. Et ce soir, j'ai un event pour le... je sais pas en français, mais en anglais, c'est le Queen Charlotte Bridgerton screening avec Shonda Rhimes and all the cast. Donc, je pense que c'est le bon moment pour faire un vlog. Alors, je suis un peu retard, mais ça va, we move. Et voilà, on y va. In French, but I feel like I can express myself so much better in English, so I will make sure that there are French subtitles for this part. So the night that you all saw was the night that Queen Charlotte actually premiered on Netflix. So it had not been out yet. They premiered the first episode of the show with the cast there. So this was at the Paley Media Center here in New York City. So I will leave a link to if you want to learn more about the Paley Center, being a member, all of that. But it was just so amazing getting to experience that with the entire cast, Shonda Rhimes, the producers, and to just get their thoughts on how it was made and the themes. And I'm really, really grateful that I went because one, I learned a lot, obviously, but also having that perspective as I watched the show. So I just saw the first episode then, and obviously it's later now. I've watched the whole series. It's 6 episodes, but watching it through that lens and the way that they intended and the themes that Shonda was talking about was just so inspiring. And that's my thing, my mantra is always stay inspired, and that's exactly what it was. Obviously, I've been a Shonda Rhimes fan since Olivia Pope Grey's Anatomy days, so it's been so beautiful to watch her career and the progression, and particularly this story. So there were 2 key points that I think were worth mentioning from the talk. The first being that Shonda, obviously, there was a Q&A session where there was a point where Shonda was speaking about kind of, writing the story, the characters, and obviously getting questions on Bridgerton about the diversity and showing characters we don't normally see. And something she said really stuck out, which was she basically said, I'm not making up anything that wasn't there. I'm just writing about those who were erased. And I thought that was so powerful because it's so true. And even they kind of allude to it. Again, spoilers, if you haven't watched it yet, pause, don't necessarily watch this before you watch the show. But in talking about they allude to it with Lady Danbury and her family and her husband's family about, they had money from Africa and they've got all these places. And that is so true. There were people doing things in India, the Middle East, Africa, Asia, while all of this was going on. And I think it's so beautiful that Shonda really made a point to say, these people were alive and doing things and having lives and stories and romances and wealth and all of these things. Just because they were erased from a lot of Western culture doesn't mean that they didn't exist. So I absolutely love that point. I thought that was really, really powerful, and I think everyone who was at this talk really, really felt that. And I think the most powerful point came from I'm looking at my notes because I want to make sure I don't mispronounce anybody's names. Her name is Arsima Thomas. She plays young Lady Danbury, and something she said really, really stuck with me and was what I wanted to share with you all, because I think it was just such a beautiful point. But basically, obviously there is a huge theme of friendship and just growth and transformation, obviously, throughout this entire series. And seeing that contrast between where these characters that everyone like knows and loves from Bridgerton started, and like I literally wrote it down because I was like, oh my gosh, I have to remember this. She said, Arsema Thomas, like in context about like themes and one of the most powerful points of being in the show and all of that. She said, there's something about watching a woman become strong and realizing that she wasn't like that all along. It literally gave me goosebumps. It was so beautiful, because it's so true. I think that happens so much to, obviously in this context, Queen Charlotte, where you think, oh, she's always been queen in the fabulous wigs and all this, but you don't see the journey of what it took to get there. And I think that's something that this series does really well, is kind of watching, you know, from the beginning, like what did it take to build that strength? What did that journey look like? It didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen on her own. And I think that that is so beautiful, and it's something that so many women can relate to. I know that I can in my own life. Yeah, it was just such a beautiful point, and I'm so thankful that I heard that before I watched it, because I could see, you know, the through line throughout the entire series. And it's just so relatable and so true, especially if and again, if you're watching my channel, I'm sure you are, you know, following your dreams, into transformation and just all of that. But it really is so beautiful seeing that represented on screen. Somebody who wasn't always like strong and powerful, and how they got there. And in my own life, that's something that I've dealt with, and I think for me, it's always been like confidence. People are like, oh, you're so confident, you do this, you just go after the life that you want, you're so brave. And it's like, I built that. I mean, yeah, obviously like my personality, you know, I came here with that, but I had to build it. It took practice, it took time. Like it took a lot of not being confident, of not being secure. And that's something that I love to do here on my channel, is kind of show the range. It's not always, you know, the end result, the powerful, the confident, it has it all going together. It very much is. You can be that way because you know the opposite. Because the opposite is very much true as well. I know what it's like to not be confident, to not speak up for myself, to not, you know, all of these things. And it was just so relatable. So incredible series, talk. If you ever get the chance to hear any of these cast speak, India was there, what's the other? India, Corey, Golda, like the entire cast was there. I think you saw in the pictures, but it was absolutely amazing getting to hear their perspective along with Shonda as well. So if you ever get the chance to hear any of them speak, I definitely recommend it. And watch Queen Charlotte. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I am a Bridgerton fan, obviously. I haven't read the books, actually. I know that's sad, but I enjoy the Netflix series and how just beautiful and tasteful it's done. But highly recommend watching Queen Charlotte if you haven't. And yeah, just looking at all of the themes and how relatable that is to life today versus then, and the fashion and the wigs. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you guys next time. Bisous.